This vibrant textile was made by a group of Muslim women in 2021. It reflects their different experiences of Ramadan and Eid, both in their countries of origin and in the UK, including during lockdown. The original project was conceived of in early 2020, before any of us had ever heard of COVID-19. It was to be a co-produced narrative textile, a podcast and an exhibition tour. A collaboration between myself, Teresa Hareduke, as the artist, Nish Damori as facilitator, and women who meet at Praxis, a charity in Tower Hamlets working with refugee and asylum seekers. The project aimed to creatively open up conversations between Muslim and non-Muslim women, reveal undiscovered domestic rituals and stories of women's experience of Ramadan and Eid, and to counter some of the prejudice Muslim women often experience.
Yes, I'm very happy because sometimes people asking, why are you fasting all day? Why not fasting 2 hours, 3 hours? But Teresa, she understands what is fasting, For me, it's good.
We have 5 pillars of Islam, which is one is the faith, second prayers to do the 5 times prayer a day. Then we have the fasting, that's to do the 30 days Ramadan fasting. Then we have zakat, which is charity. Then we have the last pillar, which is to go to Hajj, that is pilgrimage. I think they call it pilgrimage, to go to Mecca and go to Hajj. It's better for us to tell people because people of non-Muslims have different perspective about we, the Muslims. And for us telling our story, seeing our different perspective, make them know that Islam is the same thing, but our culture is different. So the way we practice it, different from each other. Even like me and Rashida, we are from the same Nigeria, but the same way, the way we practice it may be different from each other. I believe in another thing, she might believe in another, but we all believe in one God.
Then the world changed, and we were all told to stay at home. At first, I panicked, as I couldn't see how to do the project as pitched to our funders. Its success depended on teaching creative skills, face-to-face, making a collective piece, and encouraging dialogue between people of different faiths. Also, the women were faced with far more pressing issues. Many lived in temporary housing or shared housing with relative strangers. There was misinformation and fake news, and it was difficult to know what to believe and which rules to follow. Many struggled with food poverty, trying to get to food banks or to get free school meals for their children. Some have no recourse to public funds and had to work in order to survive. There was restricted access to health and other services, as well as advice. Homeschooling without internet access was really challenging. But there was also positive experiences of lockdown and evidence of the women's incredible resilience.
I go to hospital and my son see the skin like COVID-19. That time is not really lockdown, like I went with him hospital. He said, Mommy, that time he can read. He said, Mommy, what is COVID-19? This is a Bengali word. I said, no, even I don't know what is COVID-19.
It was difficult for me also because where I was living, it's like the outskirts of London, and I had friends all over in Southeast. My daughter too was used to going to school, and she's a bit hyperactive, and she was now left to stay in a room. So, she cries every time she wants to go out. And then the perception that we had about COVID was really, really, hard. Because I was living in a shared house then, and different people with different belief on what the COVID is. I had a flatmate that believed that COVID can come in through the air from the window, yes. So every time you try to even go to the garden in the house to play, she'll be shouting, COVID, 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 COVID. I had one that believed that there's no COVID at all. So there was one time they came to tell us that COVID is to kill all asylum seekers because they don't want us migrants. Yeah, that was the perspective we had then. So sometimes
good.
It was really, really mentally
affecting
us all then. Until later on we started hearing more information about what the COVID is and everything calmed down.
Well, children can't touch anything. We can say don't touch, and Sometimes my son say, "Mommy, I'm no robot. I have to touch." I'm no robot, mommy. Why you say always don't touch, don't touch?
Because my children is 13 years and one is 10 years, so they have a school at home, so in an 8:45 they need to be on the computer and they do the classes, so sometimes the internet was difficult. So again, I have to do this one. This one calling me from this room, mommy. This one calling me this room, mommy. So it's like I have to be free on for 4 hours. Then when they finish, they say, mommy, take me to the park now. I want to football. They used to kick a ball at living room. I said, no, you're gonna break the light. And it's dangerous. And they said, no, why we are locked? Can you take us to back home now? I said, you are not allowed to go back home because there's no flight, nothing. No one can go anywhere. I'm thinking they're getting me mentally affected, And I was like crying myself. I was so miserable. I was like, oh my God, what's happening in this world? It was very sad.
Sometimes neighbors are complaining because children are jumping, play the ball. They say they can't sleep. Children can't just robot. They can't sit down one place. They have to play. You understand? This is COVID.
I had my baby few months before the lockdown. For the first time, I had baby blues. It was crazy because there was a lot of misconception. And because suddenly I felt the life was, world was coming to an end. Every day I was wiping the house, even though the windows were closed. I was wiping the house every blessed day. When I go shopping, I put it outside the door. I go bring water and soap. I wash the shopping before I take. It was crazy. A very long queue in the supermarket. I was going nuts. I think I was losing it. I was extremely losing it. So it was really tough. It was extremely tough. COVID was something that's changed the system entirely. It's not back to what it is anymore. I said that everything is COVID. Everything is COVID. Everything is COVID.
The financial impact that COVID had on people then on no recourse to public fund. Because they are no recourse to public fund, they were forced, some of them, because of the lockdown, they were forced to stay at home and have to rely on food bank because they cannot afford to buy food for themselves, and they were not getting any help from the government. So it was really, really difficult. I decided, let me get myself useful. So there's this group I used to go and teach them how to make hair and sew clothes before the pandemic. And I said, okay, why not let me bring the group to Zoom classes? So, and I created this Zoom group. Not just on Zoom again, I found out that I went to food banks because they used to bring food for me then. I just asked, can I volunteer? They say, yeah, fine, why not? So I decided to use one of the days in the week to go and volunteer in this food bank to give back to what they have been giving to me.
I started teaching some creative processes online, via Zoom and on mobile phones. Tricky, but still felt that the bulk of the project had to wait until we could meet up. When we found ourselves locked down again at Christmas 2020, I gave up on my determination to do it as a live workshopped process. So during Ramadan 2021, we decided to adapt and do it remotely. We held recorded conversations over Zoom sessions with a wider group of women of different faiths. I posted out packs of materials, paints, fabrics, pens, scissors, embroidery threads to a smaller group of Muslim women. Over WhatsApp, I demonstrated techniques in how to paint, to draw, design, collage, applique, and embroider their individual pieces. Rather than the textile piece being something we created together, it became a patchwork of individual squares made by the women and their families working on their own at home, which they posted back to me and I pieced together into a large quilt.
When they're sending all the materials at home by post, so you was start doing the work at home. And same time when we have a Zoom class.
Not all of us had the phone with internet then during the COVID, but because of the group we are in Praxis, they provided the moms tablets and internet for us to use then. So it was very helpful for all the moms to use then. So we're all able to participate.
When we received it, like the packet, and then we had to start and thinking what we want to put in the textile. And it was a bit hard, like to sew, but then it became easy. Like we know, it was like when we started the textile join. It was during the month of Ramadan, so we was like uh, inspired from the month and what we was doing every day and what we cooked and cakes we made near to the Eid.
And she did this one. She glued this one on, and she painted this one too.
Yeah.
She put the stickers, and she glued this and glued this together.
Yeah, and she's only 4.
And she was only 4 then, so for her, it's something that she's very happy with.
My big son, he did the pineapple. You can see on the top.
Yeah.
And then he did the strawberry, and then carrot, aubergine, and obviously we did the plug of our
The Bangladeshi clothes, traditional clothes,
Yeah.
boy and girl. We used to, when it's Eid time, we used to buy new clothes. Without new clothes, look like we are sad. And we made the prayer mat, and we write this one as well, Eid Mubarak. And after I write Bengali, like Eid Mubarak, this one. And I make this one, I like traditional food, what we eat in the Ramadan. Normally we don't eat this food, but when it's Ramadan, we especially eat this samosa, papura, spring roll.
I remember my childhood, like all my cousins come together, we dress, we go out, we have fun. But in here, it's quite a bit different because you don't have that environment.
And there's one thing again I noticed about this place is Eid is not, from where I come from, Eid is always like a bank holiday for us. So I remember last year, on each day I had to go to work. Even without lockdown, some of us don't have to, we can't go to the mosque to pray because of some of the job we have. So it's not like Christmas that everybody will be at home.
They shared some of the big challenges they faced in the UK during lockdown, particularly when Eid was shut down the night before and plans to celebrate were cancelled.
There was a hope. Suddenly it was dashed out because, and that again sent people back into their shell. Like, it caused a lot of depression again, a lot of anxiety again.
It was really shock for us and sadness because we was looking forward. We planned what we're gonna do on the Eid day, even like with friends and like planning to go to the mosque and go like for a picnic outside in the park, and then we had to cancel it.
It really affected us and our children. Children say, "Mommy, let's go." I said, "No, you're not allowed to go." They said, "No, why not?" I said, "No." They're saying, "Oh, why not going our own cousin? We are not going anywhere." I said, "No, even the cousin or neighbor or anyone, we can't. It's COVID and there's a lockdown and restriction, so we need to follow our restriction in the UK. 6 people, then you can't go meet. So it's a bit difficult."
The women in this film come from Bangladesh, Nigeria, Algeria, but others who contributed come from Morocco, Pakistan, India and Ethiopia. They all shared powerful individual stories.
This is the picture of me and my 2 daughters. I remember seeing them last about almost, 18 years. So I left them alone with my mom, and this is the last memory of me and that I have of me and them celebrating Eid together. So that's why I gave Teresa the picture, because to me that's how Eid is for me at home with the family, with my loved ones. I wasn't sure they were going to grant them the family reunion, but luckily they grant them. And so seeing them again last year, after so many years, seeing them again last year, it's been something very happy for me.
Me and my husband and my little baby. Yeah, that was his first Eid. That memory was at my sister's house. So me, my sister, my brother-in-law, all my brothers, we all together that time. This is the memory of my sister's house. So in the COVID, we couldn't go. So I miss this celebration, how we get together, sharing food and taking pictures, lots of memories. And because my mom was passed away, so we was quite sad last year and everything. So but when I see the picture, it's like, oh, I'm missing that same moment.
During the Ramadan in the lockdown, it was quite really hard for me because I had to spend it by myself in the house, and I didn't felt it was Ramadan and Eid. Usually, because I live alone in this country, my family are back home, so I don't have anyone here. And before the lockdown, each Ramadan I go sit at the month of Ramadan, I go spend it in my friend's house with her husband and daughter. We like cook together and make a sweet half dinner together and go to the mosque at the evening time. And when the lockdown came, we wasn't able to meet up, so it was quite difficult and isolated for me. And my friend, I remember she made some food at home, like samosas and cakes, and she sent it to me by her friend. Yeah, because I was feeling so lonely.
But because it's an act work, you're supposed to put the act together yourself. So the most important or the interesting aspect of it was my girls were able to participate. They were so happy to do that. And that way I saw the expression of what religion means to them and what they have learned from me in the past about how they need to carry on. So I let them have the ball, get the ball rolling themselves. So they drew it. They were so happy to get involved, and because it was during lockdown, there was a lot of boring things, we were just confined in one room. So it was kind of a happy moment for them to get busy and do things and do stuff.
Through the project, I learnt that Islamic practice is based on shared fundamental values, but their practice is both nuanced and diverse. Also, I had to eat my words. I have no doubt it would have been a richer experience face to face, but despite my misgivings, it provided a real bonding opportunity. Importantly, we created something that proved both rewarding and a source of real pride for the women who made it. When eventually we could meet, we had a joyous unfurling of the textile in a park in Bethnal Green, and the women were visibly delighted with what they'd made. So who was I to say that it wasn't a success?
This project has brought about unity for me because, as you can see, it's very colorful, and the way it's colorful to me, it represents everybody in this that took part in this, and also we are all women. For me, it became one piece like this, but it's in pieces. We all did it in pieces. To me, it represents the pieces we've had in our lives and bringing it back together to become one color, to become one piece and beautiful. Most of us, the women that have been here, because we've left our families back home, we are broken, we've missed our families, and just bringing these pieces back together, it shows that our life can be beautiful and
it's so colorful.
and it has bring us back to be one family. We've missed our family back home, but now this has bring us back. I have a lot of sisters now with this project. I have a lot of friends with this project.
Now it's another bonding. It's like a family.
We are like one family now with this project has bring us back together.